Section is from an ovarian cyst. We can see that this is the cyst wall and there is a papillary proliferation on the interior surface of the cyst. This papillary proliferation has an arborizing appearance where we have stems that lead to smaller villi, at least for most of it. The first thing we want to do is think about what kind of tumour it is. With this arborizing proliferation, we think it's a borderline tumour. Then we want to think about what epithelium is lining it, and we'll do that in a moment. We want to think about whether there's any invasion and whether there's any high-risk features. Okay, let's zoom in. What type of epithelium is this? So what we've got are this epithelium that is ciliated and occurs in little tufts. And this is very typical of serous epithelium. In addition, in other places, we can see bits breaking off, like here. Okay, again, very typical of serous epithelium. So we're thinking that this is a serous borderline tumour. Don't be put off by the mucin. Serous tumours produce mucin as well. Next, we want to see, is there any invasion? And to do this, we would look along the basement here, where the tumour meets the stroma, and we can't see any. Often invasion we can see as little groups of pinkish cells going through into the ovarian stroma. One high-risk feature that we might be concerned about here are these unsupported papillae, or the Medusa head. So this can indicate a high risk of implants being in the peritoneum, in other words, outside the ovary. So it's always worth mentioning when we see this pattern. Some people regard it as a kind of carcinoma in situ, but I just regard it as a different pattern that has an increased risk profile. Let's have a look closer here. We can still see that these are serous cells, but they have no little vascular channels going up between them, and there's no arborization. So this is as big here as it is at its stem. Okay, so this is a serous borderline tumour. If we saw this out in the peritoneum, looking like this, we would call this an implant, a non-invasive implant. These tumours can progress to low-grade serous carcinoma, and they're on the KRAS pathway. So serous borderline tumour is halfway down the pathway from a serous cyst adenoma to low-grade serous carcinoma.